We start this segment with the devastating floods that are ravaging southern Brazil in an unfolding humanitarian catastrophe. I'm Amy Johnson reporting for Crucial 360 News on this crisis in Rio Grande do Sul state. The situation remains critical, with rising waters and mounting death tolls. At least 136 people have perished so far, with 125 more still missing. Over 400,000 residents have been displaced as entire communities were erased by relentless deluges in a matter of days. Meteorologists now warn that another round of intense rainfall through the weekend could further exacerbate the crisis. With shelters bursting at the seams, many of the most vulnerable have nowhere to turn as the floods threaten to consume what little they have left. In the town of Eldorado do Sul, heavy rains have already begun falling again. Meteorologists say parts of Rio Grande do Sul could see over 15 centimeters, nearly 6 inches of additional rainfall through Sunday. Rising winds and river levels have sparked fears the flooding could still get exponentially worse. The rapidly rising Rio dos Sinos River has breached its banks, submerging entire neighborhoods with just the upper levels of homes visible above the churning waters. Residents brace for impact, questioning how much more these devastated communities can withstand. Over 70,000 displaced residents are sheltering in schools and gyms, but critical food, water, and medical supplies are running low as floodwaters cut supply routes. Some shelters could be overwhelmed within 24 to 48 hours unless more aid arrives. Across Rio Grande do Sul, those who fled to shelters now find themselves in crowded, squalid conditions as aid struggles to keep up with demand. In Canoas, a gymnasium houses over 500 displaced residents crammed together on the floor. The stench of human waste and rotting food fills the air as trash litters the premises. Staff struggle to maintain basic hygiene. Disease is spreading rapidly due to the overcrowding, one resident says through tears. We're living like animals. No human being should have to endure these conditions, especially children. Outside, entire neighborhoods are reduced to debris-filled swamps, the stench of sewage hanging thick as people navigate waterlogged streets on rickety boats. The catastrophic flooding is both fueled and compounded by worsening climate change impacts. This weather phenomenon is intensified by global warming and has brought unprecedented rainfall. Scientists overwhelmingly agree that human-caused emissions are increasing the frequency and severity of such extreme weather events. But policy responses are also needed to address the inequalities exacerbating the crisis. The poor often live in less resilient housing and flood-prone areas, states Natalie Understell of the Talanoa Institute climate think tank. Combating those inequalities is key to an effective disaster response. This reality is stark in Rio Grande do Sul, where many low-income residents have seen fragile homes simply swept away, leaving them destitute. Even in this relatively wealthy state, severe socioeconomic divides persist, with Black and mixed-race populations facing disproportionate displacement and suffering. As the waters rise, the gap between those fleeing to second homes and those trapped grows ever more apparent. A divide critics say is being actively erased by narratives portraying Rio Grande do Sul's population as uniformly white and affluent. Facing a catastrophe of historic proportions, Brazil has requested urgent international aid and mobilized its military. The federal government announced a $10 billion relief package, but with over 400,000 displaced, shortages of food, water, and medicine have reached crisis levels. In a desperate bid to get supplies into cut-off areas, the Air Force has begun airdrops of pallets with tons of provisions. The Navy has also deployed vessels, including its largest warship, to assist maritime aid deliveries. Nevertheless, the outlook remains grim, with the relentless floods showing no signs of abating and fears growing this could rival Brazil's most catastrophic natural disasters. Despite the resilience of victims like the couple who refused to abandon their flooded home, the staggering scale of loss and lack of support has left many with no choice but to await rescue from squalid shelters. As the waters continue rising, so too do cries for more decisive global leadership and resources to prevent this man-made climate crisis from inflicting further devastation on the world's most vulnerable populations. I'm Amy Johnson with Crucial 360 News. If you would like to continue to receive our news coverage, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Farewell for now.